Star Wars 7 by 7 episode 2828. All right, so news has broken about not only the 2025 and the 2027 Star Wars movies, but basically the idea of the overarching project as a whole. The next 3 Star Wars movies are being gathered under one big umbrella called Project Rogue, and we have details about Kevin Feige's 2027 movie to discuss right here today. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7 by 7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So we know that Rogue Squadron is coming out, supposed to, right, in 2023. We know that Taika Waititi is working on a Star Wars movie that we expect to be coming in 2025, and it's going to be irreverent and different and all that stuff. But what we found out is that it's going to be part of a larger Project Rogue kind of umbrella thing, and Kevin Feige's movie is coming out in 2027 and will also be under this umbrella. We've found out that it is sort of, I guess you could say, Suicide Squad-ish in its way. It's going to involve characters from the sequel era, and we've been given a rundown of who those characters are and just some general things about what might be happening in the movie. So here's what we know. We have details about 6 characters who are involved in this story, and it basically rolls off the events of Bloodline, which is Claudia Gray's novel that features Leia as a senator, and we get the first inklings of what the First Order is doing, and that they've been coalescing and whatnot. And so similar to the idea of Rogue One, where there's information about a planet-killing weapon, well, it's a similar kind of thing because the First Order is working on Starkiller Base, and the New Republic gets wind of it, but they can't do anything to investigate because of all of the stuff with the First Order, and is it really happening? And there are people who are kind of naysaying it and that sort of thing. So it has to be done on the sly. So there is a 6-member team that ends up investigating this. One of them is an ancestor of Bistan. You may remember Space Monkey, as Bistan was referred to in Rogue One. Well, this character's name is Vistan, and Vistan is described as a mercenary with a technologically advanced suit that he can use to create different gadgets and transforming weaponry, which sounds pretty cool. He's been in prison on Hosnian Prime, but shortens his prison sentence by joining this Project Rogue thing happening so he can help his daughter Mistana, yeah, whatever. I don't know if that's going to be the final name, and we don't know any details about the daughter just yet. The casting for Vistan is described as being an unsentimental portrayal of a 1960s action hero style thing, and that the character's story arc will take him from being a toxic jerk to a true leader. Then we have Boolio. You remember Boolio from The Rise of Skywalker, who was voiced by Mark Hamill. No word yet as to whether Mark will be reprising the role, but Boolio, we learn a lot more about this character from the description. Boolio is described as a ruthless, jingoistic killer. Seems strange to be allied with the New Republic, but whatever. And Boolio believes in achieving peace at any cost, and the casting idea for this was described as imagining Lyle Waggoner. If you're familiar with Lyle Waggoner, he was the guy who played Steve Trevor in the Wonder Woman series in the 1970s, except if Steve Trevor had been like a younger Colonel Kurtz from Apocalypse Now. So yeah, this seems really crazy. The character's apparent death in the film is not going to be permanent. So yeah, it's going to seem like something happens to Boolio, but obviously it doesn't, because we see Boolio in The Rise of Skywalker about 5 years later. Then we have Claude. Yes, Claude, who was seen first in The Rise of Skywalker trying to fix the Millennium Falcon while they were doing that run to the Glacier Colony. Claude's going to be in this as well. The description of him says, Claude has a keen mind and a talent for the mechanical, using his skills to assist the Resistance. He speaks a complex language that's difficult to understand, and Kevin Feige says that he wants the underlying story for Claude to explore his loneliness as someone who wants to be part of the galaxy and connect with other people, but is not able to do so because of his appearance. And we see this in moments like where he pretends to be reading, or it says looking longingly out a cockpit window at a couple who are together, particularly Commander Dacey and Lieutenant Ruby Tice, who we also saw in The Rise of Skywalker. Then we have Dr. Harder Colonia, who's going to be part of this team. You may remember Dr. Colonia as the person who was treating Chewbacca at the Resistance base on Dakar in The Force Awakens. She's going to be the team medic, and it says that she has a relationship with Viston that's kind of like Abbott and Costello, where basically Viston is sort of the Abbott to Colonia's Costello. So we're going to learn a lot more about her. But whatever happens in the movie is going to cause some sort of dissociative disorder that's going to sideline Colonia to base-only duties, and that's why she is on the base in Dakar working on Chewbacca in The Force Awakens, as opposed to just being out kicking butt with the rest of the field teams. There's also word on who is going to be the leader of this Project Rogue team, not necessarily going out into the field with them, but considering that it's kind of an unconventional team, you wouldn't be surprised to know that it's going to be an unconventional leader. It's Vice Admiral Amelin Holdo, who's going to be the director of this Project Rogue, put in charge because of her unconventional strategies and tactics, particularly at the Battle of Chiron Belt and also the Battle of Ansett Island, which you may remember from The Rise of Skywalker. That's the battle where Janna and a bunch of other First Order stormtroopers defected because the First Order was going to fire on a bunch of civilians. And this last character, I think, is the most exciting part of the announcement out of everyone. Leading the team of Project Rogue in the field to try and find out what the rumors are about this new planet-killing base is none other than Jackson T. Tumperaki. Yes, the giant 6-foot-tall green rabbit first introduced in Star Wars comics way back in the 70s that has been brought back into canon and very successfully, particularly by Kevin Scott, for example. He's going to be the team leader in the field. Now, Feige has said that Jackson's portrayal is going to be different from other depictions of the character, so that's going to be interesting to see. And the other detail we have is that Jackson begins the film on a team that Holdo sends on a decoy operation, and we find out that Jackson has not been getting along with Holdo and that he's sent on this decoy operation basically because he made fun of one of Holdo's hair color changes, so I'm curious to see how that plays out. And when they get into the actual meat of the film, it says that Feige is saying Jackson has grown sick of being taken advantage of and doing bad things, which leads to him disobeying Holdo and jeopardizing the mission. So that's just about everything we know about the 2027 Kevin Feige movie, except for the title of the movie, which is not necessarily official, but it seems pretty darn official the way it came across the wire. And so we'll talk about that in just a second. Before we do, though, I do just want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Audible who are helping to support the podcast. And you can go to audibletrial.com/SW7X7 to check them out, get a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial just by using that special link. That's audibletrial.com/SW7X7. And so here's the deal on the title for the film. It is going to be, this is what we think it's going to be, April Fool's Day. That's what the title is going to be. Happy April Fool's Day to you. Yes, this is all nonsense completely and utterly, and I'm so grateful that you've stuck along for the joke this far. So happy April Fool's Day to you. I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever this catches you. And as I always say, it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for this episode as always. And may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.